Hello, everybody. We have been working very hard studying for this test, and today is the day. Today in class, we are going to take 45 minutes to finish to work on our test. Students who aren't finished will get an additional 20 minutes tomorrow. Now, the reason that I do put a time limit on this is that either you know it efficiently or you don't. And part of being a good mathematician is doing things efficiently. In other words, using the best strategy needed to get the work done instead of making too much work for yourself. So that's this whole first unit has been about finding strategies that are more efficient to multiply. Our test looks like this. Not just a blank page, but it looks just like your pre-test, the practice test we've been working on. When you complete this test, you are not allowed to use a multiplication chart. You are not allowed to use a calculator. You are not allowed to look up the answers anywhere else. You are not allowed, if you're at home, to ask your parents how to do it. You're not allowed to do those sort of things because you have been practicing and you knew this was coming. So for question 1, we're working on how do we fill these out. We have talked about factors all this whole unit. So you have the number 11. You need to list the factors that you multiply together to make 11. You have the number 24. You have to look at find all the factors there are to make the number 24. Then you're going to do the 2 multiples of the number. So remember what multiples are. Multiples are when you count by that number, or it's the skip counting of that number, or it's the multiply that number by something to get the product, which is the multiple. Then you're going to write if it's a prime or composite. And now number 2. When you get your papers, you may want to underline this. You first of all need to write a prime number and then tell how. So often I have people that tell me how they know it's a prime number, but they've never given me an example. For this one, write a composite number. Tell me how you know it's composite. Looking at question number 4. The equation 9 times 7 equals 63 can mean what? Remember when we went through this, we actually rewrote things to make these words into equations. So one of these works. Is it 9 folders and 7 folders together are 63 folders? 9 erasers divided into 7 groups is 63 erasers. 63 crayons are 9 times the 7 crayons at the green table. The difference between 9 binders and 7 markers is 63. Okay, looking at number 5, fill in the bubble beside what is the number in the circle. What does that say, everybody? Shout it out. 2. You're circling the 2 equations. You're filling the bubbles of the 2 equations that best represent this situation. Jalen picked 20 flowers. That is 4 times as many as his little brother, Andre. How many flowers did Andre pick? So is it 20 times 4 equals the flowers? Is it 20 equals 4 times the flowers? Is it 20 divided by the flowers equals 4? Is it 20 minus 4 equals the flowers? How many are you circling or filling in, everybody? 2. Okay. For number 6, you're going to notice the word I am circling. What is that word, everybody?
Multiplication.
Okay, multiplication means that you are using a multiplication sign. You are not using adding. You are not using subtracting. You are writing a multiplication equation for these problems. David is 12 years old. David's grandmother is 5 times older than David. How old is David's grandma? Raven bought a dress and a sweater. The dress cost 2 times as much as the sweater. The sweater cost $19. Answer the question. How much did the dress cost? Nobody say any answers. Okay. If we pronounce this in English, it's George. Otherwise, it's Jorge. Bought a video game and a DVD. The video game cost $36. The DVD cost $9. How many times more did the DVD cost than the video game? Or how many more times than I read that wrong. I read it wrong every time. I apologize. How many times more than the DVD did the video game cost? Carefully read that wording. If you can read that wording, it will help you. Here we have a ratio table. Notice that we don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. So you have to figure out which numbers go here. We do have our example, we could maybe say. So it says that if one student has 8 folders, 2 students have how many? If they have 40 folders, how many students is that? If there's 80 folders, how many students is that? If we have 9 students, how many folders do they have? Okay, we are factor finding. We're missing some of the dimensions. We're missing some of the factors. Fill in the blanks. Again with these, fill in the blanks. Down with these, fill in the blanks. Going to problem 10. In this, please note you have a point for this, and a point for the work that you need to do. If you do not show your work, you lose a point. So right here it says, solve each story problem below. Show your thinking with words, sketches. Oh, I'm sorry, number of sketches or words. I should maybe put my glasses on. What you think? Then they fog up and I can't see anyway. Then write an equation that represents your work and record that answer labeled with the correct units. So if this is talking about paper, you're not going to, if you don't label it, I might say it's kittens or rocks or something. So you have to make certain that you tell us what the number means. There are 5 students in the purple group. They each brought 3 packs of paper to school. The school or the class needs 8 times as much paper as the entire purple group brought to last the whole school year. How many packs of paper does the class still need? Okay, working places, equation, answer, part B. Claire saw 4 columns of markers in a box of 36 markers. How many markers are in each of the columns? Equation, answer, some sort of picture or equation. Down at the bottom, the Hawks table has 5 students. The Hawks table group has 5 students. Each student brought 3 pencils. The Eagle table group has 5 students, and each student brought 5 pencils. After they collected their pencils, Mrs. Raptor divided them evenly among the students at those 2 tables. How many pencils did each student get? Solve the problem above. Show your thinking with numbers, sketches, or words. If you don't show your thinking, you lose a point. Look at this next part. You do not need to write the equation for this problem. They do want you to have the answer. You know, how many pencils does everybody get? But you don't have to write an equation because you have to pick which equation is represented down here for this problem. Yes, Phoenix?
Can you use an equation for like showing your thinking?
Sure. Phoenix's question was, can you use an equation to represent your thinking? In some cases, that's the easiest way to show your thinking. Yes, David?
For the ones on the back, the next page.
This page?
Yeah, for the one with the equation, you have to use an equation, or can you just draw something?
Its equation is 1 point.
Oh, what about a picture?
Your picture is 1 point. Your equation is 1 point. Your answer with the label is 1 point. If you just put 72 without 72 telling me what 72 means, you've lost part of your points because you have to have the correct unit. That's a good question, David. So for your 3 points on this, you have to show your work. And then for some of you, just writing an equation is showing your work. For some of you, drawing a picture is showing your work. For some of you, it's maybe you write, I counted by 5s. That's telling me what you did. If you write, I just know it, that's not showing your work. So I had some giggles. Or like when I was in teaching 2nd grade, they would say, I counted on my fingers. Okay, so those of you at home, you're going to work on this test until you're done, and then you will have a light load tomorrow. For us here, we will be still working on this test tomorrow. Some people will be finished, about a third of the class will not. So good luck on your test. Again, if you have any questions, just ask, and we will send you something new tomorrow.
See ya.